Hi, Lawrence LeBrocq, Managing Partner of Garces, Grabler, and LeBrocq. Welcome to Victim to Victory, Triumph Over Tragedy. Today we have the pleasure of having Yessenia Montalvo with us today, police detective, former boxer, and now one of the top coaches in the area, specializing training female fighters. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you started boxing in your late 20s, so tell us about your earlier life and how you got into boxing in your late 20s. And just out of curiosity, was it boxing before you became a detective or after?
But it was before I became a detective. I was always a tomboy of the family, I guess. I played softball, football, so I was always active. And, I applied to become a police officer, and I got accepted into the academy. And I always thought that it was going to be hard because of my height. I'm short. And, of course, a lot of male officers wouldn't want to work with a female officer that don't know how to be a good partner.
Right.
So that kind of, boxing, I was always curious about it. And then I discovered it when I was going to the gym. And I just started working out as, a way to get in shape for the academy. But then it just sparked a fire in me, and I said, I can do this. And then I was thrown in the ring. I started sparring, and I had a couple of fights, and it just gave me discipline, something to look forward to, going to the gym. Right. And that's how I got started.
All right, so talk a little bit about being a tomboy, trying to be a little bit tougher because you're tiny, right? How tall are you?
5 feet tall.
All right, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. And you're not a big woman either. So you're 5 foot tall. You're not very big. Talk to us about playing sports, developing yourself, and then trying to build the confidence to become stronger so you could fulfill the duties as a police officer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, working for the city of Newark, you have to be tough. You have to be confident when you're talking to people, especially people that are from the streets. Right. You can't show any fear in your face when you approach them. And you also have to be able to talk to them to be able to de-escalate any kind of bad situation. So boxing gave me that. Just having that confidence of approaching people and looking them in the eye and not being afraid. So, that's what boxing helped me. And also, once I became a police officer, just having that outlet of going to the gym and hitting the bag, it allowed me the ability to release stress. Right. Because, being an officer, it's a lot stressful. You get to dispatch to a different scenes where it's domestic violence or there's a kid on the corner and the parents are on drugs. There's a lot of things that police officers don't share, and not having an outlet to release that stress, it can be very, very heavy.
Right. And also the boxing, you said, gave you some more confidence.
Absolutely.
To do your job. And how did the other police officers look at you when they found out that you were involved in boxing?
Oh, I didn't share that with them.
No?
I just had a big mouth, and I was able to, like I said previously, we start fights, and because my partners were taller than me and bigger than me, they always were able to finish the fights. So I was, the confidence, like I said, I had a big mouth. I was able to speak up for myself and not hold back. That pretty much allowed me to be able to work in different departments within the police department. Right. I work in the cell block, I work communications, I work Homeland Security, I work the South District, the Nitro unit, which was the narcotics unit, and then finally, before I retire, I went to the robbery squad. So I moved around,
What made you want to become a police officer and then eventually a detective?
In the beginning, it was because I was looking for a job, truthfully, and the police department, was a good paying job with insurance. But as I became connected to the community that I was working at, I've became to know the community, the kids, the schools, Even the older folks that lived there. When I first started working, I was in the South District, and they used to call us the Chosen Frozen, because the first year that after we graduated the academy, we had to walk the beat in the winter. Right. So that forced us to check on the senior citizen buildings, so that we don't freeze at night. So, and that's how we became, I became good with the senior citizens, because I would make conversations and talk to them, and, they were good people.
Right. So you talked about kids. Do you have a family of your own?
I do. I have 3 girls, and that are 20 and 19-year-old twins, and I have a 70-year-old boy.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I also have 3 children. Kids are great.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they can be a challenge. But going back to you now with boxing, it's not like you grew up boxing. You come from a boxing family. What made you want to start being a boxing coach?
So I retired early. But even before that, let me just give you a little bit of background. I had my kids back to back, my girls, and I was suffering from postpartum depression. And I have gotten away from the boxing for a little bit after having got married, had a family, and I was a little bit, away from boxing. And my husband, knowing me and who I was when we first met, he bought a boxing bag and he put it down in the basement, because I used to be so traumatized of the girls crying, and I just went to a really, really bad place. So he bought me the bag and he put it in the basement, and he's like, go downstairs and go beat up on the bag and come up whenever you're ready. And that brought me back to being centered and being the person who I was prior to having kids. And I didn't know that boxing was that powerful.
Right. So you needed that outlet.
I needed that outlet. And he knew, like I said, he bought me bags, the water bag, the long bag, everything. And he'll tell me, go lock yourself in the basement and come back when you're ready. So just having him as a partner in life has helped me come back to boxing. And I knew then that boxing was more than just fighting. Right? It was a way of me rediscovering who I was, and it gave me that strength to put something together and say, I can help other women learn other things and how to be powerful through boxing.
Okay. So now you know what boxing did for you. It helped you, developed your confidence, brought you out of a dark place, made you feel good again. That's great. But then how do you get other women to follow in your footsteps and to start coaching and opening up a boxing area?
So because of my story, my husband, we both got some money, and we invested in the gym.
Right.
And he says, well, you already feel better. I think that you can help other people. And I said, you know what, I probably would like to become a coach. It was at that period where we both retired. I retired from the police department, and I didn't have anything to do. And then my daughter started going to school, so I kind of had the whole day to myself. So I became involved with USA Boxing, which is the local boxing committee here in New Jersey. I took the test, and we opened a gym, and I started just winging it, teaching what I was doing when I was in the basement, watching videos, remembering of the things that my coach taught me when I was boxing. And it just kind of like, I just fell in love with it, of teaching other people how to box, and then having the conversations after they took the class, so that they'll come in for training for an hour, and then we'll stay to talk about how good they felt after they worked out. And then I would share my stories of how, boxing brought me back, and how boxing helped me rediscover myself again. And that's how everything started, just having the conversations after the training and sharing my story with them, and understanding that people go through troubles without telling other people. Right. And that at times all you need is to hit that bag to feel better.
When did you open up the gym?
Oh, wow. 2012.
So 2012. So it's been about 13 years.
Yes.
Talk about the progression from when you started to what you're doing now. And then also, like any good coach, it's not really about winning a fight. It's not about winning a game. It's about teaching some life skills and helping people develop confidence and develop themselves. So talk about that transition from 2012 to today.
Okay, so 2012, we opened a gym. We own a franchise. And then COVID happened, right? I practiced all my levels as coaching came from USA Boxing. So USA Boxing has a structure, but doesn't teach you how to apply those skills.
Sure.
And just the human connection of every day and how you train people, it just develops you as a better coach. But truthfully, once I started seeing the results of boxing with the youth, the kids, when we started teaching the kids, and the difference between their body language coming into the gym and training with us for a little bit and then just coming into the gym with their face, happy to be there, it just gave me more reason to continue to learn. So USA Boxing has levels of coachings. Right. It becomes with a green level, bronze level, silver level that I am now. And then I also became involved with the local boxing committee, and now I am the secretary for the local boxing committee. And then just recently, I just came back from Colorado because I am part of the high performance team. So I'm part of the coaching staff for the high performance teams for kids that are competing on an international level.
Right.
So it's just, like I said, passion, being open to feedback from other coaches, not being afraid of asking questions to coaches that have more experience and are willing to give their feedback. I have mentors like Jackie Atkins, who's the president of the local boxing community. She kind of took me under her wing and said to me, this is how you're going to learn. This is what you do. Kind of like the politics of boxing here in New Jersey. So I have her as a mentor. I have Akbar Muhammad, who is the chief of officials, who have also, who took me under his wing and taught me and said, listen, learn the rules. You got to learn the rules to win the game. Yeah. So you pretty much have to continue to be open to not stopping. You got to continue to learn. And just have the opportunities be presented to you and be ready to go when they're put in front of you. So I've been lucky to have those two people in my life that have taken me under their wings and shown me the way to be a better coach by knowing the rules and applying that to the training that I do every day.
So tell us a little bit about, started in 2012. Have you watched anybody progress to make it to the professional level?
Well, not in the professional level yet. On June 21st.
Okay, I was giving you that plug.
You're jumping there. Okay. So I have had amateur boxers, right? We have about 6 or 7 that are currently fighting amateur local shows. I organize, I'm also a matchmaker. Okay. So because I've seen the need of putting amateur boxing shows, organized boxing shows at a different level, coming up from the grassroots, when I had young boys and girls wanting to compete in amateur boxing will show up to a show and sat there for 4 hours, 5 hours before the show actually began. And I'm like, oh my God, why is this so unorganized? Sometimes it happens. So that kind of sparked my interest into becoming a matchmaker, putting shows together. And I did that because also every show that I've gone to, the lack of participation from girls or women in boxing, you don't see that many. So that was another reason why, too, I wanted to start hosting amateur shows. But because of the youth boxing program that we started at the gym needed funding, Legacy Boxing has a wing that's called Legacy Youth Empowerment now, and we're a nonprofit. Right. And through that nonprofit, we host shows that fund equipment trips for kids that need boxing gloves and hand wraps and all that stuff. So it's like a whole bunch of things all put together that is just I mean there's so many things I can talk about, but so we started with the youth boxing program, and then out of that wing we have the Pretty Strong Project. And that Pretty Strong Project funds girls in boxing. We give out scholarships for them to train at the gym. And some of them don't compete, but they do learn how to defend themselves. And then 2 years ago, I met Lisandra, who was an amateur boxer in her country, the Dominican Republic, right. And came over, and we met, and we clicked, and she loved the style of training that I offer her. I took her to the nationals, along with other boxers that were already existing in my gym, like Karina, Pauline, Adelina, all these girls that I'm naming have never had any fights, and they train with me, and they debuted as an amateur boxer, but never at the level that I am right now, where Lisandra is now has given the opportunity to turn pro at the Potential on June 21st.
That's incredible. That's great.
I never dreamt of being in this position.
What is the ratio of boys to girls at your gym?
Right now it's about 5% girls and 95% boys.
Is it really? How many people are you training now in your gym? I know it's a franchise, but where's
right.
your main gym located?
No, it wasn't. We started as a franchise. Right now, we're done with that license, and now we're our own brand, okay. Legacy Boxing.
Okay, so Legacy Boxing is located where?
In Belleville, New Jersey.
All right. Mm-hmm. And how many students or boxers do you have?
The youth boxing program right now, we have about 68 kids. Out of the top of my head, I can name about 4 girls that we have in the youth boxing program. Right. With the adult program, we have about 6 women who are boxing and competing. One of them being April, who started with the Pretty Strong Project, not knowing any boxing whatsoever. She trained with me for a whole year. Debuted last year in the Police and Fire show, and she won her first fight.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was the first year that we had the Pretty Strong Project, which we gave her a whole year scholarship and trained her, and she won her first fight as amateurs. So adults, we have about 5 women, about 6 male boxers in amateur. In the youth boxing program, we have about 10 boys, and 2 girls right now, because the one that has been was training with me for about 4 years, she's taken a break, and now she's a runner. Okay.
So if somebody wants to get involved with you, how do they contact you?
They can easily follow us on social media at Legacy Boxing NJ, or call the club, or go to our website at legacyboxingnj.com.
So what is the best thing that you think you've accomplished for the people that are in the Pretty Strong Project or just training at Legacy Gym?
The Pretty Strong Project, one of the biggest things that I think I've accomplished is setting up this or giving the space to women where they can come into a gym and feel comfortable, even if they're not confident. I want them to understand that learning how to defend themselves, it's great, and they don't have to necessarily become fighters. But I do encourage them to learn how to defend themselves. And once they understand the boxing and they get to know their abilities to be able to throw that punch and take a punch, I mean, the whole body language or the whole persona changes to like, oh yeah, maybe I do want to fight. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to, kids or young ladies like Lysandra, she already had fights in her country. So with her, just allowing her the opportunity to train at the gym and me training her along with another coach, Coach Anthony, and finding opportunities for her and trying to find sponsors because it's very difficult. The amateur world, I know, the professional world is very complicated and is very expensive.
So you're having your first professional fighter on June 21st.
Yes, at the Prudential Center.
That's great. And what weight is she fighting?
She's fighting at 122.
Okay. And what's your prediction of the fight?
Oh, we're going to knock that girl out.
Okay.
There's no way. I mean, Lysandra has sparring partners that have pushed her to cleaning up her amateur. From amateur to professional is such a big difference in style of boxing. And that's true. Coach Anthony Carr has been another mentor that's helping me now transition from amateur into professional and understanding there's certain things you do and certain things you don't do. So I'm continuing to learn because definitely I want to continue to encourage more girls to get involved in amateur boxing because in reality, grassroots is where you want to encourage these girls to start boxing and start educating them that boxing, Olympic-style boxing, is a career, and it can lead to a lot of things. And even if they don't decide to become professionals, just like Lysandra, they can become better people. Good citizens, having that confidence and being able to tackle any goals that they're put in front of them. So boxing, it's in all levels. It just helps you become a better person.
Right. So now you've broken into the professional ranks as a coach with your first fighter. Where do you see yourself and your projects in the next 5 years?
Wow. I want to make sure that we continue to promote the Pretty Strong Project. We want to encourage girls from all over the country to come and train at my gym. And another thing, too, with having the Pretty Strong Project and seeing the need to set the stage for girls in boxing here in New Jersey, I'm already organizing an event for October 10th for an all-female amateur boxing show. So just creating the opportunities for girls and women, I think that's where we're going to continue to grow because there is a need for girls in boxing here in New Jersey. We don't have that many. And in order for us to elevate the skill level of boxing for these girls, I don't want to continue to keep traveling around, Pennsylvania, New York, and all these places to get good sparring. Right. So we need to build within our program to continue to bring these girls in to make sure that they have a stage.
One piece of advice for somebody who's struggling with either postpartum depression or struggling in their upbringing and they're just trying to get out. What are the traits or what do they need to do to be successful?
Okay, so sticking with boxing. If you never tried boxing before, try it. Walk into a gym. Don't worry about who's there. Focus on yourself and throw that first punch. All you need to do is try that first punch and understand that everything that's going through your mind, it will be released and you'll feel better after you hit that bag. Boxing, it's a mental game, but it also empowers you to be in control of your mind, and then everything will fall into place. So hit that bag.
Well, good luck on June 21st. Hopefully your boxer will prevail. And it was a pleasure having you here. And good luck with your project. Oh, we're knocking over the Victory book here.
There you go.
But good luck with the project, and I hope your Pretty Strong program. Pretty strong. They go from pretty soft to pretty strong in no
pretty
time.
Strong.
Yeah, just under your tutelage, they'll develop. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it for the opportunity.